Taoiseach, you will be familiar with the phrase, one law for the rich and one law for the rest of us. And there is a perception that policing and enforcement, if you like, is dealt with differently depending on whether you're dealing with workers, working people, or whether you're dealing with the rich and the powerful. And I would really urge you in this regard to watch 406, the film that's just been made and that has won a number of awards and that premiered at the Dublin Film Festival about the Debenhams dispute. 406 days where workers who'd done nothing wrong had to strike and occupy to fight for the redundancy that they were promised by Debenhams and denied when the asset strippers who took over that company walked away with 315 million quid sterling. But at the end of that dispute, and really the film highlights this in the most shocking way, there was an enormous simultaneous Garda mobilisation to break the occupations and strikes at Henry Street, in Cork, in Limerick, in Tralee, in Waterford and so on, in what was an absolutely massive Garda mobilisation to assist the company and the liquidators to take out the goods and drag people away from the picket lines. I went with the Debenhams workers, as I mentioned to the other day, to the Office of Corporate Enforcement to give them information gathered by the filmmakers of the same film about the treatment, the tactical nature of the liquidation, and possibly, I stress, sharp practice by the company, well, definitely sharp practice, but possibly illegal practice to the Office of Corporate Enforcement a few weeks ago with the Debenhams workers. Yeah. And interestingly, the Office of Corporate Enforcement said, well, thanks for the information, but we won't be coming back to you on our investigations into that. Now, I'd like to know, will you follow up and will the government follow up the matters that we brought to the attention of the Office of Corporate Enforcement in terms of, you know, the shameful, possibly illegal behaviour of the Debenhams group in terms of the treatment of the Debenhams workers?
Thank you, Deputy.
Just in relation to evictions, I think we often mistakenly in Ireland use the term eviction interchangeably with notices to quit, that they're not the same thing. My understanding is that evictions can only happen in Ireland under a court order and therefore actually very rare. And I'm sure that Gardaí are adequately trained to deal with that matter. But as we are talking about the Gardaí and respect for the Gardaí, I think it would be remiss of me not to bring attention of the House to a document recently produced by People Before Profit, the case for a left-wing government getting rid of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. You can purchase it for €3 online, and you can even get a nice picture of me in the Taoiseach on the front cover of it. And in this document, we're told that the rich, using their control over the media, will try to turn the population against a left-led government led by Deputy MacDonald. They will deploy the police and the army to move against the elected left-wing government. And it's not just the Gardaí that are going to be involved in this conspiracy. It's the Irish Independent, the Irish Times, RTE, even primary teachers, the GAA, and taxi drivers are all part of this conspiracy to overthrow the elected left-wing government under the leadership of MacDonald, assisted by People for Profit. Look! It's very interesting debating. It's very interesting debating with members of People for Profit in the chamber. You're interesting people. You're passionate. I do actually enjoy listening to your questions, and you often raise pertinent issues that sometimes I haven't considered. But are you sure you're not a bit bonkers? Like, really? Like, do you really think there's going to be a conspiracy involving all those people to overthrow a left-wing government?
Okay, members.